What is up everyone, Mark here. Welcome back to my channel, welcome if you're new. Today I'm going to be going over my top 10 for Eurovision 2023 Semi-Final 2. This will of course also be my qualifiers for Semi-Final 2, so before we begin, please be sure to like and subscribe and comment your top 10 for Semi-Final 2. With that, let's get into my number 10 spot, which is Belgium. Now, this was a surprise even for me. I did not expect to see Belgium anywhere near my list of qualifiers. Because of You has honestly grown on me tremendously in the past couple months or so, and a huge part of that is because of how fun the song is. As you might know, this song definitely was not my favorite when it won the Belgian national final, and I really didn't give this song much of a chance. I thought the live show was good, but I wasn't that impressed with it. I thought the song was pretty tacky and boring and just a little bit too campy for my taste. However, over time, I've been revisiting this song a lot of times, to be honest. This has sort of become a guilty pleasure for me just because it is so fun, so upbeat. It's the kind of song you can just turn your brain off and listen to after a long day at school or a long day at work. It really just lifts you up, and I have caught myself streaming this song more than a few times at 2 a.m., so maybe it's grown on me subconsciously, but Gustaph impressed me once again at Barcelona Eurovision party when he gave another amazing performance with some stellar and honestly impeccable vocals. He is such a talented singer, and so are his backing vocalists, and they all deliver such a great show. Also, at Barcelona Eurovision party, Gustaph was one of the only acts that actually got the crowd riled up. They seemed like they were having a really good time, and I think that is in large part to Gustaph's stage presence, his charm, and also how fun, and might I add, how danceable the song is. So that earns us a lot of points for me as well. Again, after Barcelona Eurovision party, I had to revise my entire semi-final 2 list because that really changed my opinion about a lot of these songs, really showed me the potential of a lot of these, as we'll definitely get into later, and has given me a lot more appreciation for some of the songs I ranked low on first listen. So for me, this song will get an 8 out of 10. It is still not my favorite song, but the performance and everything else really brings it up for me, and I mean really brings it up. And to be honest, the song itself isn't bad, just isn't something I would listen to all the time. So with that, let us move on to my number 9 spot, which is Cyprus. And this was actually one that impressed me. I wasn't expecting too much from this entry. I did like Andrew Lembro's song in Australia Decides last year, but I didn't think it was super strong. Definitely not the strongest one in that contest. I wasn't quite sure what to expect from this entry for Eurovision. I was, for one thing, surprised to see him compete for Cyprus, but also I kind of assumed that he would bring a very similar song to Electrify, which was the song he competed with in Australia. And this song is similar to that in some ways, but I honestly think the song is a much stronger contender and has some really great vocal moments too. It's a very catchy song, and like I mentioned, those vocal moments are very, very strong. All that is really left for me is just to see this live. And he was a pretty good performer in Australia Decides, so I've already seen him on stage. I already know how he kind of is with live vocals, so I really am not concerned for how the song will do in that regard. I just think that so long as he does hit those notes, then this is a very safe qualifier, just not one that I find as unique or memorable as the other ones in this list. And with that, let's move on to my number 8 spot, Lithuania. This is the song Stay by Monika Lankita, and what a great song. I will say, at first I didn't like it that much because I felt that the English lyrics were a bit generic, but this one threw in a lot of really cool cultural elements. Again, that use of shuto and tuto, which are Lithuanian folk sounds, and Monika is such a great singer. Her vocals are some of the best from the entire national final season, and I just loved everything that she gave us on stage. The vocals, again, were on point, the background singers were on point, the staging was perfect, simple yet effective. I love the use of that cultural imagery at the end, even that orange color palette, and the feeling of almost like a sunrise and sunset to that staging. It was perfect to me, and so for me, this song is going to get a 9 out of 10. Even though I think it's not the strongest in the semi-final, I still think it is a wonderful song, and Lithuania is sending, once again, a quality entry. So with that, let's move on to my number 7 spot, which is Albina and Familja Kelmendi with the song Duje. I like this song for a variety of reasons, but one of the biggest reasons is because it is the only song we have this year that is a family performing together, and that is really unique, really cool, and also very wholesome. And not everyone has a family that can sing together at a major international event, and definitely not a family that can all sing well, so this song definitely stands out a lot to me. I really love a lot of aspects of this song, even if I don't think it is as strong overall as the other ones on this list. I think this song has some great traditional elements, a great instrumental, and a great revamp that really addressed a lot of my concerns about the song's production value. I love how Albania sends such traditional, authentic songs, and this one is no exception. I think Albina is also a fantastic singer. As a matter of fact, I think she has the longest note out of all the songs this year, and I also loved the staging of this in FIC. I love the way the song started all mysterious with Albina and her hood on, and the way it kicks into a more lighthearted vibe, and also those wholesome moments where Albina and her family are holding hands. I think Albina definitely deserves to qualify. I mean, she is a very talented artist. Her family also is very talented, which is really cool. I mean, how many people can say that? And I just am so excited to see what she does in Liverpool. So for me, this will get a 9 out of 10. Again, I just think the songs that are coming up next are a little bit stronger, but I still think Albina is fantastic and would be a very well-deserved qualifier. So next up is Georgia. This is a huge jump from where I was originally going to rank this song. This song was not even going to be one of my qualifiers originally, but after that performance in Barcelona Eurovision Party, my mind was completely changed. That performance in Barcelona Eurovision Party left my jaw on the floor. I was so impressed with her vocals here. These were some of the best vocals I've heard all year, and it kind of saved the song for me. This song was one I ranked a lot lower originally. This was not even top 20 in my top 37 video. A huge part of that was the lyrics. The lyrics of this song still are not my cup of tea. They really just are very confusing. There's lyrics like "thing is known," "love is a wordless," and lyrics like that are just super jarring and confusing. And while I don't think they're that noticeable, they do bug me, and they are probably the only major thing that brings the song down for me. Everything else I like about it, it's just the lyrics, to be honest. This, sonically, is a masterpiece. It sounds incredibly unique, and it has a great mix of more modern and more traditional elements. But as much as I like all that other stuff, I can't ignore the lyrics. I wish the song was in Georgian, to be honest, because I feel like it would flow a lot better, and I don't think we've heard the Georgian language in Eurovision for a while now, but I do want to point out that the lyrics were not that noticeable for me on first listen, and even watching this in Barcelona Eurovision Party, I almost forgot about her big faith, or the thing that is known, or the indisputable fact that love is a wordless. So my hope is that when more casual audiences watch this performance, they're not immediately saying to themselves, okay, what the heck did she just say? They're saying to themselves, wow, what a great performance, what great vocals, and what great staging. So for me, Echo is going to get a 9 out of 10. I don't want to take too much off for the lyrics because I think this has so much potential and is so good, but still, that is a consideration that holds this back from being ranked any higher. With that, let's move on to my number 5 spot, which is Estonia. This is Alika with the song Bridges. This song was actually the first I heard of all the Estilal studio tracks, and I was very impressed by it, and I was even more impressed by the live performance. I mean, Alika has some fantastic vocals, she is a great singer, and the song was translated very well, I thought, on stage. There's a lot here that I like. I think the main reason why it's at this spot on my list is just because the song itself feels very reminiscent of Adele, and I just don't feel like it is the most authentic to Alika. The song really stood out to me at first, but over time, maybe because I've heard this song so many times, it started to grow off me a little bit and just not feel as unique, not feel as interesting as the other songs that we've gotten. So for that reason, I'm still going to give this song a 9.5 out of 10. I think it is very strong and has flawless vocal moments, but I don't feel like the song itself is as strong or as memorable as my top 4 currently are. So with that, let us move on to my number 4 spot, Delia with the song Power. I have not seen too many people talking about this song, and I'm very surprised. I did see one post calling this a dark horse, which I do appreciate because I think this song definitely has that energy, because I think Delia has some of the best vocals in this competition, and her performances, both in Songförklaringen and Barcelona Eurovision Party, were nothing short of amazing. She was able to move around, do kicks, do all this sort of stuff on stage, and still deliver some powerful vocals. I can definitely see people saying the song is not that unique lyrically. I mean, the lyrics I can definitely see in a pop song or something similar to that nature, but it works for me here. And I think a huge part of that is because of Delia herself. Maybe it's the powerful vocals getting to me, but this song sounds so authentic to her. She takes what might be a generic song and turns it into an anthem. It doesn't sound unnatural, it doesn't sound forced, and that is what really sets this apart for me. So for me, this will get a 9.5 out of 10, one of my absolute favorites this year, and one I am definitely going to listen to a lot and for a very long time. And with that, let us move on to my number 3 spot, my number 3 qualifier for the semifinal, and that is Austria. What a phenomenal entry, what a unique entry, to be honest. This one was one I was not expecting from Austria. When the song was first announced, I was very skeptical about the song title and these artists. I figured this was going to be a joke entry, but I wasn't sure if this would be a good joke entry or one that kind of falls flat. Thankfully, this was a very, very good entry and not quite the joke entry I was expecting. I was very pleasantly surprised by the depth of the song's lyrics and its meaning. The song is about songwriting and the struggles of being a songwriter. A lot of the lyrics are very vulnerable, very personal to these artists and very relevant to people in creative fields, especially of course in the music industry. I also really enjoyed the music video they put out. There's a specific dance they do during the chorus that I really hope they bring to the Eurovision stage. We definitely need a dance entry this year because I don't think we really have one just yet. We had Give That Wolf a Banana last year, we had Dottie Fair the year before, and this year badly needs something like that in my opinion. It would be a lot of fun and make this stand out more than it already does. I mean, this is already a very unique entry. Even if they don't keep that dance, this is going to do well, and I am just so excited to see Austria back in the final. So for me, this will get a 9.5 out of 10. 10. With that, let us move on to my runner-up for semifinal 2, and that is Armenia. This is Brunette with the song Future Lover, and this is another great entry from Armenia. Rosalind was an icon last year and eventually, as we know, became super famous after the contest. Very, very happy for her. I think her song was very underrated in Eurovision, and this song is almost as good in my opinion. I think I prefer Rosalind's song a little bit more just because I loved that acoustic sound, but this one is great too and a very worthy successor. Like Snap, this is a song that is a little bit slower and a song that is more subtle, so because of that, it kind of takes time to grow on you. It takes time for you to kind of get into the song as well, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, for me, I wasn't really sure what to think about the song at first, and while I'm not the biggest fan of slow songs, I did appreciate how the song kind of built up momentum until we get to that amazing outro in Armenian. It really is one of the better ones this year, but again, there's some aspects like the rap part that I needed to get used to, and just for me, the song is not as strong as my number 1 spot, so for me, this will get a 9.5 out of 10. Still a great entry, a great successor to Rosalind, and a song I really am looking forward to seeing on the big stage. With that, let's move on to my number 1 spot, my current winner for semifinal 2, and the song that I really want to see in the final, and this is Joker Out with the song Carpe Diem. This is honestly one of the strongest entries Slovenia has ever sent. This song is exactly my type of music, one that I listen to all the time, one that I would listen to even if it wasn't a Eurovision song, and on top of all that, this band is amazing live. They had such a great performance in Slovenia. I mean, that crowd was super excited to see them, clearly knew how to work the crowd. Now, I will say, Slovenia's performance in Barcelona Eurovision Party was not the best, but that really wasn't their fault. I think they were doing the best with what they had, and considering how many tech issues that they were having that day, they did pretty well. I mean, these guys are super charismatic, and honestly, this is just one of the best songs I think we've gotten this year. The song is also currently in my top 5 for all of Eurovision 2023, not just the semifinals, so I really do hope this qualifies. I think this will qualify, but Slovenia has been kind of underrated in the past years in Eurovision. Look no further than LPS last year, and I just hope that audiences will see how great this band is, how great this song is, and vote for them in the semifinal. They are a fantastic band, and one I think deserves to have an international audience. So for me, this song is going to get a 10 out of 10. What an amazing entry, my hands down favorite from semifinal 2, and just one of my favorite Eurovision songs in general. With that has been my list of my top 10 for semifinal 2, my qualifiers for semifinal 2. Let me know if you agree or disagree with this video, if you have any video suggestions, and also please be sure to check out my new Patreon, link in the description, and any support is really, really appreciated. So with that, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you once again for 1,000 subscribers. Hopefully we can get to 2,000 soon, and with that, I will see you all next time. Peace.